What's up, everyone? Thank you for ordering my book. I really appreciate it. This is the bonus video because you ordered today. I want to talk today about how I got Gary Vaynerchuk to endorse my book. Gary is notorious for not reading, for not wanting to do book excerpts, for not recommending things. He's just super busy and he says no to most people. And so I'm going to document for you guys kind of behind the scenes how I got him to endorse my book and the work that I'm doing, and hopefully you can learn from it to go after him or go after somebody else to endorse the products and services that you're trying to sell. So it all started off with being different. Step number one was be different. In 2010, I created a line of Entrepreneur Hero trading cards. This is what they look like. Some of you guys are going to get bonus versions of this if you buy the higher packages. This is one of Steve Jobs. And what I did was I reached out to famous bloggers at the time and asked them who their favorite famous entrepreneur was, and I made a card of them. So this is Steve Jobs. He was the second in the series, and that was, oh, can you see? This here is a young Guy Kawasaki. So I reached out to Guy and said, hey, who's your favorite famous entrepreneur? He said Steve Jobs. So I made a card and put something about Guy, like why he loves Steve on the back, and then some stuff about Steve. And we raised $100,000 for charity selling these cards. It wasn't a profitable thing, it was just for awareness. And I wanted to recruit the bloggers to be able to have their help in promoting it, right? When the cards came out, I sent it to them, they shared it with their audience and helped drive sales. So Gary is one of the guys that I reached out to because he had a social media following, more on Twitter than anything else at that time. And he said yes, and he picked Vince McMahon as his favorite entrepreneur. And somebody else that I connected with actually picked Gary as the favorite famous entrepreneur. So Gary was on the front and on the back of two different cards, and that was it. At that time, Gary wasn't the main guy in the set. Like, I was much happier about getting Guy and getting Seth Godin and getting some of the other guys. Sorry, Gary. At that time, and so that was my first kind of introduction to him. And so by being different, by creating something cool, you know, Seth Godin wrote me up in his blog because he called us cool, or he called us different. I forget what the wording was, but that gets you on people's radar, where just doing another boring, same old thing doesn't. So being different helps. I didn't become a fan of Gary for a while afterwards. I didn't really follow him on Twitter. I wasn't doing much on Twitter. I didn't pay attention to him. So kind of lost the relationship for a while. And when I reconnect with him later, I don't know how much he remembers of the card series. But from there, more recently, maybe 2014, 2015, I started following him. This is 4 or 5 years after this card came out. And he was big on social media, and so I thought I'm going to reach out to him on social media. You know, I tweeted him, I retweeted his stuff, I was watching all his videos, I was leaving comments on the videos, and you know, he is active on social more than a lot of people, but I never got a response. You know, I think one time he responded with a tweet saying thanks, bro, or something. I don't even know if he knew who I was or remembered the project. And so I wasn't getting the success that I wanted. I thought by being really engaged on the community, he would pay attention and we'd have some kind of connection potentially. I know for the people who are really engaged on my channel, I know who they are. You know, they email me back and forth, I answer their questions. We have a special relationship. I guess Gary had too much going on. And so it just depends on the person you're reaching out to. Sometimes social is an easy way to do it. Sometimes it's hard. Sometimes the people, though, that you need to reach out to and connect with are on social, but aren't that popular on social. They don't have a lot of followers. They aren't creating a lot of content. So it's easy to get in. And even today, when I'm trying to reach out to people, when I was trying to make connections for my book, for people to interview, social media was the easiest way to do it. Just find out their Twitter, tweet them up, because a lot of times they're not getting a huge fan base. So again, depending on who you're trying to reach, it's worth a shot. I took my shot. I was commenting on videos. I was retweeting the stuff. I was tweeting back to him. But again, wasn't getting much of feedback from him. So I figured I got to go back to strategy number one, is be different again. Got to do something that's different. And so what I did was I made a video in July 2015 called Thank You Gary V. And what I did was connect with people who are leaving tons of comments on his channel, like the super fans. And I said, listen, guys, I want to make a thank you Gary Vaynerchuk video. I just want to thank him for all the hard work that he's put into his channel and for all the value that he's given us as entrepreneurs. Do you want to contribute? Can you give me 30 seconds of a clip just saying thank you and why you like him? And I recruited 50 people to do the video, 50. So which means I had to email and tweet and connect with 200, 300 of them to get 50 to actually not just say yes, but actually then follow through and give me a video, right? So that's an insane amount of work. That's a ton of work, writing to people who don't know who I am, who don't read their messages, and then actually getting them to take action and make a video where they may be uncomfortable on video. So I don't remember how many people I reached out to, but it was a lot. It was days of just responding. And at the end of the day, we had this video that 50 people said something nice about Gary, and I forwarded it off to, I don't think I lost his email address from the first time. I switched my computer. So I sent it off to D-Rock. If you guys know D-Rock, the guy who does his video editing. Because I asked D-Rock, hey, D-Rock, do you want to be in the video? Do you want to leave a message for Gary? And he said, no, I'm planning his birthday or whatever. And so he didn't. I thought it'd be cool to have some of his team in the video too, but they didn't want to join. But I sent it to him once it was out, and a couple of the people at VaynerMedia, and it got to Gary, and Gary wrote back to me to say, thank you a lot for the video. Something super short, but now I'm different again, right? Just like the cards, I'm different, I'm memorable. I mentioned the card in the video so we can make that connection if he forgot. And now I had his email again, so it was easy to connect. I wanted to then have him on my channel. I wanted to do an interview with him. I didn't even have the book concept out yet, but I just wanted to build a relationship and have him on my channel. I thought it would be good for you guys. And I sent him a bunch of emails, and he just never responded. Some of them were longer, some of them were shorter, just try to explain what I was trying to do. And every, I don't know, 2 to 3 months, I would send an email, and I just never got a response. So then throughout this whole thing, I'm building up value, right? So I'm building up value. I am building my audience. I am making myself more well-known as well, so that for him or anybody else, when we're looking at potential collaborations, it's easier to say yes because I'm not just starting up. So, 2010 was a long time ago. My channel was nothing. I don't even know if I was doing my channel, maybe just starting. And so just continue to hustle, keep making YouTube videos, keep grinding it out, building my audience base to the point where my channel is bigger than his. We have more subscribers, more views. And so it's a lot easier to say yes. And we're still growing at a faster clip. I tried to get on his Ask Gary V show too, right? I tweeted a couple questions, I sent a couple of emails, and again, I felt like this is not the way to do it. I'm not providing enough, I'm not different enough, because everybody's doing the exact same thing. If you approach them the same way everybody else is approaching them with the same kind of messaging, it's hard to stand out for someone who's consuming a ton of content. Even though I had his personal email, it still wasn't helping me out. So I had to do something different again, right? Back to my be different strategy. First the cards and the thank you video. He was coming up with his Ask Gary V book. And so I made a top 10 rules video on Gary Vaynerchuk. And I worked with the guys on his book launch team and made sure it got to him, and promoted the book in the video. There's a link there. And again, another way to stand out. And that video is closing in on 1 million views. I don't feel like we're there yet. Am I way off? Maybe it's not. Maybe it's way off. Maybe I'm lying. I don't know. We're almost on the first page. If you look at Gary Vaynerchuk, we're there on the first page. But then if you sort by popularity, then we're almost on the first page. Maybe by the time you guys are watching, this will be on the first page, because he has stuff that's been up there for 6, 7, 8 years. Maybe it's not 1 million. Maybe I'm off, but I feel like it's on its way there. Anyway, again, finding a way to be different, to stand out, to get noticed. The next was pay attention. Whenever you're trying to reach out to these influencers, you want to consume their stuff and pay attention and look for ins. And so on one of his shows, one of his Ask Gary V shows, he was talking about, for his email, he likes one-liners, just in the subject. He was complaining about long emails, and he likes doing business just in the subject line. I thought that was interesting, and I thought about the emails that I had sent him, and some of them were really long, and some of them were short, but I had never sent just an email just with the subject line. And so I sent him an email, again, just in the subject line, saying, I have 300,000 subs on my channel, would love to do an interview with you. And he wrote back to that one to say, let's set it up. And he copied somebody on his team, and from there, we set up the interview. So just by paying attention and understanding the way that he likes to communicate, I was able to break free and get in, because maybe my other emails were too long and he was just ignoring them. And so also understanding when you're writing to people, like people write me their life story, pages, and I don't have time to read it. Where if you can condense it down, if I have a question, it's easy to write back and say, well, how did you deal with this? Or give me more context here. But if you get hit, if you're bombarded with emails daily and you get hit with this wall of text, you just don't want to read it. And oftentimes I've written back to people, say, hey, cut this down by 90%, write back to me, and I'll see what I can do to help. But as people get super busy, they may not have time to write back. So keeping it short and sweet could be a valuable strategy, and it definitely worked for Gary. And then the last part was he came on the show. He came on the channel. We did an interview. You guys can check that out. That was in, when was that? That was in June 2016. The top 10 rules came out in February, and the interview was June 2016. And before coming on, he had known a little about me. So he didn't have a huge understanding of what I did, but he knew about the videos, obviously the videos I did for him, and he knew what I was about. And so he said a couple of nice things on the channel, on that interview. And afterwards, I promoted it. I promoted the video. I started promoting his book a little bit. And I wrote to him in an email, again, super short, super quick, knowing that's his style, to ask if he would mind if I used some of the stuff he said in the video as a testimonial for my marketing, for the website, for the book. And I just copy and pasted what he already said about me. So it's not, again, making the work easy for them, right? Making it so that they don't have to do extra work. If I said, hey, Gary, do you mind writing something about me so I can use it in my book? He probably wouldn't do it. It's just not enough time. Where writing to say, you already said this about me, do you mind if I use it? That's an easy yes. And so he just wrote back, like, go for it, or yes, or sure, or whatever it was. And that's it. That's how I got Gary Vaynerchuk to endorse my book. And so using those strategies, I guess, the main thing that continually stuck out was being different, doing something to get on their radar that nobody else is doing, that may involve a lot of work, that may be reaching out to 300 people so you can get 50 of them to make a thank you video of. It may mean helping them promote their book or their product or whatever it is in a way that nobody else is helping them with. Something that helps you stand out, to get on their radar, and then building the value of what you're doing. Would he have done it if I had 100 subscribers on my channel? Maybe it's serendipity. Maybe I luck out. Maybe he just loves everything I've done. But it doesn't hurt that I had 300,000 something subs at that time. And so continue to build your value, continue to reach out in different ways, and you might get some good endorsements for the product or service that you are selling. So hopefully that helped you guys. A little bonus sneak peek content behind the scenes of what happens here at EC headquarters. Really appreciate you buying the book again. It means a lot to me. I'm really excited about it. I think it's going to have a major impact, not just on your business, but on your life. And I've seen the shift that it's made in people after going through the exercises in the book. So I'm really excited for it to come out. I'm looking forward to the stories that come back from you guys after having read it and what changes you've made in your life and your business. Please remember to come back and share this with me, because that's what fuels me and put weeks and over a year of work into creating this thing. So thank you again for ordering. It means the world to me. I really appreciate it. Hope this video helped you. Continue to believe, or whatever your one word is, and I'll see you soon.